Here we're going to divide polynomials algebraically, and this is when we have no remainder. So the 4x plus 3 will go into our 12x cubed minus 3x squared, sorry, minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18 evenly, which means that our divisor will go into the dividend equally. This is, we'll say it will be a factor. So let's go ahead and start this. So first is we need to write our divisor, which is 4x plus 3. And then we have our dividend. One thing we need to check is we need to make sure that our variables go in descending order based on their exponents. So we have 3, 2, 1, and really this is x is 0, so we're good. If not, then we have to make a placeholder. Again, you'll see that in another video. So here we ask ourselves, 4x times what gives us 12x cubed? This is the only question we need to ask ourselves to begin with. So first off, we need to look at the coefficients, 4 and 12. How do we make 4 become 12 by multiplying it to a number? And so the answer would be that we need to multiply it by a positive 3. Well, actually, I guess I need to put positive. I can just put 3. Right, because 3 times 4 will give us 12. And then we have 1x here, but we need 3 of them. I'm talking about the exponent here. So if I have 1 and I need 3, how many do I need? We need 2 of them, so we need x squared. So now once we have what we are multiplying our divisor by, we go ahead and multiply. So we're going to say 3x squared times 4x. That gives us our positive 12x cubed, which is what we wanted. Then we have 3x squared times positive 3, which gives us a positive 9x squared. So our goal is to make this, when we add them, to be 0. But if you remember from when we did long division back in elementary, we subtracted this value. So when we subtract the value, that means that we are changing the signs of the polynomial below. So now when we add straight down, this does become 0. That means, hey, we're good. If this was not 0, then one of two things happened. We multiplied incorrectly, so this one is incorrect here. Or we chose a wrong value to multiply our divisor by. But because this becomes 0 and we add down, then we are good to go. Next, the negative 11x squared minus a 9x squared gives a negative 20x squared. Like before in past long division, we bring down the next term, which is positive 9x. We need the same number of terms we have here anytime we keep going. Once we cannot bring any more terms down, and let's say we have 2 terms here, and we have only 1 term left, and we stop. So now again, we say 4x times what gives us negative 20x squared. So the first thing we need to look at is just the coefficients. So 4 times what gives us negative 20? And that should tell you it is negative 5. Now we look at our variables. We have 1x here. We have 2 of them here. So how many do we need? We need 1. So now we take and we multiply negative 5x to our binomial here. So negative 5x times 4x gives us a negative 20x squared. And then negative 5x times positive 3 gives us a negative 15x. Before we add, we need to subtract, move down, sorry, not move it down, but change the signs. We check, does this equal 0? Yes, that means we are golden. We're going to keep moving. So we have 9x plus a 15x, which gives us 24, a positive 24x. And then we're going to bring down the 18, and we can keep going. So again, our question, I should underline here, 4x times what gives us 24x? So we look at the coefficient first, 4 times what gives us 24? And our answer should be 6. Then we have 1x here. We already have an x here, so we do not need to multiply by any x value, so we can keep it there. We are done. And so now we multiply. So we have 6 times 4x, which gives us 24x. We have 6 times 3, which is a positive 18. We need to add straight down, but before we need to subtract and change the sign. And what happens is this gives us 0, which is what we wanted, but also this gives us 0. That's not necessarily what we need to have happen, but when it happens, it tells us some good things. So that means your remainder is 0. What comes out of this? This now says that 4x plus 3, our divisor, is now a factor of our dividend. This 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18. It also tells us that our quotient, the answer that we achieved, is also a factor of our dividend. Okay, so this is our answer here. Now we've been writing multiplication statements, and the only multiplication statement we can write to this is 4x plus 3 times 3x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18. This would be our multiplication statement if we were asked to write one. What that means is that your quotient times your divisor equals your dividend.